Welcome to Halas Hall Report, live every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and Sunday mornings at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Live talking Chicago Bears football with Mike the Bear Fan. And your host, Ken Dobb. Also on the panel, we have the football analyst, Woody, who was named for the Woody wrap-up on game days. Next on the panel, we have Bear Down Mike. He is the youngest, but don't be fooled. This guy knows this Bear squad. He can bring a different insight. Halas Hall Report breaks down the Chicago Bears team all year long, from the offseason through the draft. Also, the legend of tailgating, Billy Defense Flores, joins the crew live at 1st and 10 tailgating. You can find him at all home games at Soldiers Field. Also, the Bear Fan, who has been here since the first year of Halas Hall Report, welcome Bear Fan Dan, where he is known for studs and duds after every game. You can find them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Roku if you have a TV. They are all over social media. You won't find no better sources for Chicago Bears news like injury reports, team updates for breaking news for all the good and the bad the team does. Halas Hall Report will be live for the 6th season. And they are teaming up with the best sports podcast out on social media.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning and happy Easter, Bears fans. Welcome to the Easter morning edition of the Halas Hall Report. It is, of course, a PFF Sunday. We've got the normal cast of characters here this morning. Good morning, gents.
Good morning.
Yeah. And our first PFF grade is going to be Bear Down Mike. With or without facial hair? It's looking a little light. Did you shave it?
No.
That's a flavor saver there, bud.
I'm telling you.
That's going to get shaved again at some point.
If you notice the intro video and now, it's a little bit light. We got to see what the PFF grade on that is. It looks like it's red, not trending back towards green yet. I don't know. But
no, I grow a big beard in the wintertime.
Yeah, and then so that's your winter beard, and now you're going to your summer mid beard, so to speak. Okay, makes sense.
I might go royal with my goatee.
I when I shave this every so often, I'm like, oh my god, I don't actually shave, I just trim it because a razor has not touched this space since I retired from the Army.
Half-hour show, Ken. Half-hour show.
Yeah. So anywho, because Woody wants to have a half-hour show, we're gonna go right into PFF grades. All right, we're looking at defense this week. First up, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon. Here are the PFF grades. Dan, Jalen obviously gets the big contract. Kyler, I think that might have been a little bit of a drop off. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a drop off for him.
Yeah, because you can kind of see where 2002 is. He's 48th NFL last year, but a little bit of a drop off maybe from 22. I'm not sure, but all right. So our cornerbacks ranked first and 48th in the NFL. What do you think there, Dan?
Definitely good for Jalen. And Kyler thought it'd be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you say about that? Or you just agree with Dan?
Yeah. I believe Kyler Gordon. I thought would be a little bit better, but Jalen Johnson, of course. I mean, he run defense great. He could. Does that mean he's not tackling, or what's going on with that? But yeah, Kyler Gordon's got to get better. But he did do better last year, but I thought he'd be a little higher.
Mike, are you ready to get rid of Kyler Gordon with that low score?
No, he's underrated. He's still good in that slot corner position. He's definitely underrated. And then Jalen Johnson, I'm not surprised he's number one. Run defense is probably because he's one of the last guys to get there.
Yeah. Well, I like Kyler's his coverage grade is pretty good, actually. Yeah. It's not phenomenal, but you got to figure, with Jalen's numbers being what they are, where else are you going to go? They have to go towards Kyler, and Kyler isn't as good as Jalen right now. So that kind of explains the score a little bit.
Well, you're not going to use Kyler as a pass rusher.
No.
Of course he's going to grade low. You use Brisker more than anything for a pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Brisker, oh, he's not up there yet. All right, next up we got Tyreek and Terrell, and I love Tyreek. To me, he reminds me of a young Sean Taylor. Anyone else get the Sean Taylor vibe, or is that just me?
Yeah, without the penalties though.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I didn't see it.
That was that Mike.
me.
Mike, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
All I can see about Tyreek is he's going to improve. That's all we say. Last year, last season he was great. When Jalen was hurt, he was helping out. Same with Terrell Smith. He's only getting better. So I'm guessing this next season, I expect those grades to go up.
Yeah, I think Smith was a pleasant surprise on this roster when he filled in, and Tyreek, we knew the dude could hit. I mean, the guy got some penalties for hitting pretty damn hard early on, but I think that dude is a tackling machine, and he's gonna knock you in the next week. I hope he continues to improve. So we're probably pretty good in the cornerback market area for our big four. I mean, Tyreek is ranked 80th. That's the worst of the four of them. That's not too bad.
I mean, as it looks right now, Terrell's better than Tyreek. Is it true though?
Yeah.
Well, Terrell hasn't had that much playing time as Tyreek.
Yeah.
Last week when we did offensive linemen, it was Pryor that had real good PFFs, but he wasn't starter.
This is where we get a little interesting here. All right, so we're looking at free safety. I know we took Bojack off. But Bojack was rated like he's at like 140 or something like that right now in the NFL. So
almost dead last.
Yeah, he's it's funny though because there was a massive drop off from the year before where he was actually ranked pretty high. So this is the area for us that we're going to be paying attention to though is the safety position. So Kevin's obviously an upgrade over Bojack.
Yes.
I mean, Dan, do you see anything in these grades that makes you worry?
Nope.
No, but maybe. Well, Elijah's coverage grade is. Yeah, his defensive grade are real low.
But as a backup, it's solid. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But he's a backup safety, so he doesn't play.
His pass rush grade, though, his pass rush grade is just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at his numbers, right? And all of a sudden, pass rush is just way up there compared to everything else. So, I mean, obviously, I think he's gonna be more of a guy they're gonna use on a free safety blitz. So if we see Hicks in the game, we know a blitz might be coming. That's what I can take from this, right? Like he's a blitzing specialist more than a coverage guy. So pretty interesting there. And then of course our other safeties that Mike put together. Good morning, Dre. Damn. There's Brisker.
Brisker's 48th.
Yeah, I thought
he'd be higher.
Wow. Him and Gordon, I thought it'd be higher.
Yeah.
But Hicks, he's good on his rushing and stuff like that. But as long as the receivers don't get behind him, then he's good.
I'm surprised Brisker's coverage is only a 62 because I thought he played tight in coverage.
He's a tackling machine, though.
He had a little bit of a drop off last year, though. I noticed it watching games. He had a little bit of a drop off from his rookie year, and that's a mini sophomore slump, if you will. I mean, I think they definitely did go at him a lot, but Jalen really made teams throw in other directions, and Brisker had a couple games where you saw Brisker get burnt once or twice, but that's why I think the coverage grade dropped so big because they would get that matchup of the number one. They're one on Brisker, and there were a couple times Brisker got burnt pretty good. So, but yeah, I am surprised at how low the grade is. And of course, Jonathan Owens, he's just going to be he's a filler guy. Well, I would say he's a little more than a filler guy. He's a rotational guy. There we go. So overall, though, guys, what do you think of our safety, our cornerback and safety room? Pretty good.
Solid.
Well, they can only get better, except for Johnson.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get better.
Yeah, Johnson's grade is just so disappointing. I mean, he's got to get this first in the NFL to first in the universe or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume they all get better just because the defensive line is going to get better.
So it's funny because Kyler or at cornerback he's 48th, and that's funny they're both 48th at their respective positions. That's interesting. This is going to be a little bit interesting too. Is the middle linebackers, Edmonds and Sewell. Sewell didn't have enough time to get an NFL ranking. He didn't have enough snaps because he had a lot of injury last year. So, we look at his grades. That's unlimited play. Tremaine, of course, we signed as part of the signing of the linebacking duo last year is the get rid of Roquan and get 3 for the price of 1. Dan, what do you think of Tremaine Edmonds grading out last year? And is it really reflective of his impact?
I don't think it's reflective of the impact, no. The thing is, his pass rush was low. It's pretty low, I should say.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, I remember when we signed him last year, the big thing was the key on run blocking or run stopping, right? So it's interesting that even his run defensive grade's only at 57.
Yeah. Yeah. This grade doesn't reflect how him, Sanborn, and what the hell's his name?
Edwards
all work together. This doesn't reflect that because we see what Tremaine can do when the other two guys are doing their job as well. So the pass rush game, that's not really his thing. That was more like we use Jack for doing that or Edwards to do that. But it's not the end all be all of these grades. I definitely think it should be a little bit higher, but it's whatever. And
Woody,
he's more of a special teams guy.
Well, Woody, I mean, Sewell was hurt a good portion of last year, which sucks. As your rookie year, you spent a lot of time hurt. But looking at the limited numbers, you gotta that when Tremaine's contract's up, he's not gonna have to necessarily be a priority because hopefully Sewell will be like his brother and be a star on a defensive, on a team. I mean, you gotta like what you see out of Sewell so far.
Yeah, so far, but I would like, we were looking up to and looking forward to Edmonds coming in, being a great linebacker. Him and Edwards, I want them because remember, Lance Briggs and Urlacher. I mean, that's a pretty high hill to climb to get up to them, but that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, see?
I mean, there's the other piece of it right there.
I mean, TJ Edwards, how many games this year did he lead the team in tackles? I mean,
at least 14 or 15 of them.
Great pickup, even though he's from the Sheagles.
Woody's favorite team.
But he's a native boy of Chicago, so we'll let it pass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the grades on Edwards. I'm surprised he was 11th, to be honest. I thought he graded out better than Roquan last year. While I was doing some other comparisons, but Edwards, I mean, you put just solid everywhere, worth the money for sure. I mean, and then of course the last group, and this is where it gets interesting. I'm not even going to say Amen's last name. Can anyone pronounce that?
Abana Chamamiga.
Agbong Beniga. Agbong
So,
Beniga.
Yeah, a bonga
so
mega.
obviously, so obviously, adding, he's coming in from a different system. It'll be, obviously going to be more of Jack's backup. Jack, though, dude, Jack Sanborn for an undrafted free agent rookie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dre, TJ is the beast. Jack Sanborn's numbers, fellas. I mean, Dan, you got to be pleasantly happy with Sanborn, don't you?
Yeah, they're all right.
Mhm.
They're definitely all right.
I mean, does anyone think, looking at Jack's numbers, like, oh, we need a new Sam?
No.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
A good fill in depth.
I mean, 39th in the NFL in the three linebackers, right? He's in the Sam, not the Mike or the solid numbers, I think, for him overall.
Yeah.
Solid numbers. I think he's to be a mainstay for a while. This linebacking trio could really stay together. I could see that for this trio, as long as they um, stay healthy for years to come.
Yeah, but
All right, now we're
they gotta get Noah on the field. He's gotta stay healthy. They gotta get him some playing time.
Yeah.
In order for him to get better.
Well, we got to
Yeah,
keep our defense off the field as much as the offense. It seemed like our defense was on the field more.
well, and I think that's what hurt some of these grades too. Is early in the season, the offense could not stay on the field for more than 2.2 seconds, and the defense spent a lot of time on the field. So I think as the offense gets better, these other numbers get better. Uh, you know, that's the funny thing when you look at some of these players. So that actually, let me go back to that. So the fact that our defense could not get off, was stuck on the field so much because the offense couldn't stay on it. The fact that Jalen is first in the NFL really tells you how good he is. Kyler dropping back to 48th makes more sense because he was on the field more than his counterparts, a lot of his counterparts who probably scored higher than him because, well, the percent less attempts against them. So that's there's some truth to all that. Definitely. I see some truth to that. And then we look at the interior and like dude, Dan, I look at Gervin Dexter Sr.'s number, and at first I'm shocked, but I'm like, well, wait a minute. The end of the year, man, I wish we could split this out the first half of the year and last half of the year. Because I bet last half of the year he's not 101. I bet he's a lot higher.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
Well, like I said, the rookies aren't going to come in and be top 20. That'll be pretty phenomenal. So we'll give them another year or two.
I thought Dexter would have been a lot more higher than Pickens. I feel like Dexter played a lot more than Pickens did.
He did. That's why the grade's why it is though too.
I mean, we need some run stoppers too.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you look at Gervin at the end of the year, that's when he picked up the sacks, started picking up the pressures. That post trade deadline, his numbers, his gameplay, the amount of time the announcers called his name, definitely improved, I thought. Yeah, Woody, I don't know what to say about Billings here. I mean, that seems pretty solid to me.
Yep, that's pretty good.
That's solid numbers.
Dan,
I've seen a lot of run defense grades in the 50s.
Yeah,
but we were great at run defense. That's what that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was just about to say that to Dan. It's like, Dan, like if you look at these run scores, right? Terrible run defense scores. Yet we were the number one team in the league against the run.
Yeah, it's shocking, the scores for the run defense.
All right, now we're looking at right edge. This is what we got right now. Now, of course, though, well, actually, Ngakoue his PFF. I'm not sure where his PFS is at his position. Overall, he's like 105, 120 by PFF in the NFL. So he's probably higher than 84th in the NFL at his position. And then there's still a possibility we go out and re-sign him because no one's touched him yet. But
But his run grade's got to be terrible too. That's why teams
yeah,
wanted to run at Yannick.
yeah. I mean, this is developing here, and of course, we're gonna have no surprises here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected Montez's coverage grade to be low. That's not what you pay him
Yeah.
for.
That's so funny that the edge rushers have a coverage grade.
That's
Like
stupid.
they're supposed to cover all the screen passes and shit.
So that's our current defense, PFF, gents. Any big surprises there for you?
I thought Montez Sweat will be higher.
Yeah.
30. That's
I'm
not
a little-
terrible.
I'm a little surprised that Gordon and Briskers were a little bit lower than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
I figured Brisker had a little bit of a drop off last year. Gordon, though, I thought had a little bit of a pickup. And then Stevenson's number being so low because, man, maybe it's just because we see these massive hits he puts on people and obscures the stuff that we don't see. But that's the interesting thing about our defensive backfield. The scores weren't nearly as high as we thought they should be, but overall they're pretty much a shutdown unit, one of the best young units in the league. So I sometimes that's why I don't get about PFF.
Well, as expected, Stevenson, he did get. If you watch highlights of his games, he did get beat a lot from these wide receivers. So that's
He did.
probably why his score's down a little bit.
But that kid, he just reminds me of Sean Taylor when he hits people. Oh my God.
Same college.
Yeah. Probably same coaching
Yeah,
back in the day.
by themselves, a lot of them don't score out very well. As you see Stevenson and Gordon, but collectively, that's a top defense. And it's
Yeah, so I guess
all three
that's-
levels working together.
So I guess we got about 8 minutes left on a PFF Sunday here. Let me ask this of Dan. Yeah, and actually before I go to Dan, let me I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. If you're on Mike the Bear Fan on our page on Facebook, we now have a new subscription service. Within that subscription service, a lot of the stuff you saw here today, all these PFF grades, I'm going to throw up here some of these really quick. We have this stuff in the subscription group, as well as access to games during the year. I'll put it that way. Hint, hint, wink, wink. However, we'll have more PFF analysis of these grades and whatnot in the subscription group. And we just launched that group this week. So it's going to start to grow here, and it's only $2.99 a month right now, reoccurring on your Facebook. So please go join that, and you'll get more of the PFF that we show here today. But Dan, look at these PFF grades. Where do you think our defense should rank this year coming into the season? Do you think this is going to be a top 10 defense, top 15 defense? Where do you think this puts the Bears?
Maybe top 10.
Okay, Woody?
Right in the beginning of the year?
Yeah, coming into the season.
I say definitely top 15, closer to 10.
Okay. Bear down, Mike?
Depending on what they do at the other edge, if they do what we think they're going to do, I'm going to say top 5.
Okay. We haven't gotten into the mock drafts yet. Dre, who's done a guest spot on the show on the morning show, said 10 or 11 they're now gelling. Wow, top 3 says Eric Thomas.
Jesus Christ.
And then we got Taylor Lynn, who thinks that we should be in the UFL so we can compete. Well, there's always one in the crowd. Wah wah wah. Hold on a second. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Luca, this is going to be long, guys, but Luca's been posting some great comments on the morning show. Let's get the Lucas comment here real quick. It makes sense to see run defense lower than expected. Speaks volumes to coaching and schemes. For example, DI does nothing and gets blocked into the tackle. The player would get negative value for that play, even though he got the tackle. Yeah. And Luca says that we'd be a top 12. Luca is, remind me if I'm right, Luca, a Vikings fan. He's been on the morning show quite a bit. Great comments. He's a Viking fan, actually. I remember.
Yeah, I think we'll start around, like I said, 12, 11. Then we'll be definitely top 10 by mid to the end of the year.
Yeah, Eric. Second half of the season starts. I wish PFF. We've been playing around with PFF. The sites, the pay side of it's a little bit new to us. So I've been gaming it, playing around, trying to figure out how we can do split out first half versus second half, player versus team, lifetime, stuff like that. That kind of stuff's going to be coming. The second half did pick up at post-sweat, right? Post-sweat. Let's just call it what it is, post-trade. There was definitely a change. Going to what we were saying, we haven't talked draft yet. We'll get into that here eventually. But with PFF, I've started to play around a little bit with it. And I have noticed, some of these edge guys that we were looking at weeks ago, we first talked about the draft, are falling back on the board some. So that if we trade out of 9, we can get a top edge guy still at 16 or 15 or 12.
Not
so,
first.
Not first. I think first we're kind of locked in. That's a topic for another day, because we start that topic, we'll be going up for a couple hours, and we've only got about 3.5 minutes. So, Mike, do you think edge is something we're going to do in the draft? Or do you think it's something we're going to still look through free agency for?
Draft. You got it in the draft. I mean, unless they want to sign Yannick back, he should be cheaper. But I like I said, I think they're going to go in the draft and draft somebody.
And Luke has got a point there with the rookie quarterback. That's why he doesn't have his, there'll be more time on the field, he thinks. Dan, what about you? What do you think?
I think it'll be the draft at this point,
Well, I guess I know everyone's drafting with their second first-round pick in this upcoming draft on this panel. It's going to be a defensive edge guy. It's just going to be interesting to see which defensive edge guy we go for.
Who's the
Dre, I've been playing around with these mock drafts a little bit now. We could definitely trade back and still get like Dallas Turner at 15 or 16, according to these mocks that are out there right now. O-line, I don't know if, I've seen somewhere Altman's available at 9, which is kind of like mind-blowing.
If Alt's there at 9, I take that.
Heck, I was doing one where he traded the first pick for the second pick and a number of other picks. And Caleb went first, so, knock at him, you can get that Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, definitely got
yes,
you
sir.
definitely have to go with him first. And guys, on Dan's last take, the disappointing take of the day, that's going to do it for this Sunday, PFF Sunday. Thank you for everyone for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, Frozen Thunder Network is on every Monday through Friday. We have the Ken and Ken morning show at 10 a.m. Central. We'll be back on Halas Hall next Saturday at 7 p.m. Central, and right back here, same bat time, same bat channel next week. Until next time, guys, and for everyone else, I'll see you tomorrow on Roku for Ken and Ken in the morning. Have a great Easter. Peace.
Okay.